Today is my wedding with Isabella. I'm sitting in the lounge, letting the makeup artist work on my face, grinning from ear to ear without a care in the world. My elder sister is watching me and shaking her head with a sigh. She seems to think I look really undignified like this, and she rubs my head. Tisk, tsk, tsk. So you're getting carried away with joy just because you're getting a wife? I give my sister a reproachful look, but my hands are still trembling, and my body is tense with nervousness. I have been in love with Isabella for 5 years, more than 1,800 days and nights. I have wanted to marry her home every single moment. But when this day finally came, I felt an inexplicable sense of panic, and my heart couldn't stop pounding. I take a deep breath and tell myself to calm down over and over again. I open the door of the lounge and step out. Isabella in her white wedding dress looks pure and holy. She presses her lips together and smiles happily, shining brightly and dazzlingly. However, this smile is not for me. A twinge of pain shoots through my heart, and my eyes involuntarily follow her gaze. It's Ethan. He is her first love that she has never forgotten. The two of them lost contact when he went abroad later. Is he back? I remember a few days ago, I was in a panic because we were short of a best man for the wedding, and Isabella said she had a suitable candidate. Now, seeing Ethan in the black best man suit, the well-fitted cut makes him look handsome and tall. The look in his eyes when he looks at Isabella is filled with an indescribable affection. The two of them are chatting and laughing, and they seem to turn a blind eye to the ambiguous atmosphere. So, the suitable candidate is Ethan. My body stiffens. No wonder she's smiling so happily. Such a bright and radiant smile is something I've never seen on her since I got to know her. Isabella casually glances at me, then the corners of her raised mouth drop, and her whole face turns cold. She approaches me and says indifferently, "Are you all set? The wedding is about to start." I nod and force a smile, feeling awkward. It's clearly my wedding, but at this moment, I feel like a third party interfering, and I'm uncomfortable all over. "Aren't you going to explain?" I point at Ethan beside us. He smiles politely at me, but there is a trace of faint mockery in that smile. Isabella frowns and looks at me. "Explain what? Don't think too much. We haven't been in touch for a long time. He saw my post on the social media and knew we were short of a best man." She takes my hand and leads me to Ethan. "He's just being kind. Say thank you to Ethan. After all, he's helping us out." Ethan smiles gently and magnanimously says, "It's nothing, Isabella. These are all minor matters." After that, he raises his eyebrows and looks at her again. In a joking tone, he says, "Since you want to thank me, how about treating me to a meal later?" Isabella readily agrees. Seeing that I still haven't made any move, she looks at me unhappily. "Lucas, what kind of tantrum are you throwing now? Don't be so childish. I've already said that there's nothing between me and him. Can you stop being jealous for no reason?" I feel as if I've been pricked by a needle. The fine pain makes it hard for me to breathe. I look up at her and smile self-deprecatingly. Am I throwing a tantrum? Who would invite their ex-boyfriend to be the best man? I say this a bit louder, and many people turn to look at us. Isabella seems to be stung, feeling a bit embarrassed, and her brows are furrowed even more. "I hid it from you just because I knew you'd lose your temper. As I expected. It's our wedding today, and I don't want to quarrel with you." Isabella orders me, "Apologize to Ethan. You know you're being very impolite like this, right?" So, she still knows that we're getting married today. My nose suddenly feels sour. I'm full of grievances but can't say them out, and I don't want to say them either. It seems that everything suddenly becomes meaningless. I stare fixedly at the woman I've loved for 5 years in front of me. Actually, we rarely quarrel. I like her, and I always give in to her in everything. How could I be willing to quarrel with her? Whenever there is a conflict between us, the first one to apologize is always me. I open my mouth and meet Ethan's gaze. I say word by word, "I'm sorry." Upon hearing this, Isabella looks at Ethan with a hint of apology, and her words subtly belittle me. "Sorry, Ethan. Lucas is just stingy, not very mature, and likes to be jealous." She sighs softly again. "I'll have a hard time after we get married." Ethan waves his hand to show that he doesn't care. The two of them start chatting naturally again, and the atmosphere is harmonious. There is an intimacy that makes others feel they can't interrupt. I stand aside, isolated. I clench my hands into fists, and finally, I let them down feebly. In fact, I know that Isabella has never liked me. She doesn't like me sticking to her, doesn't like me being too intimate with her. Even getting married is something she only agreed to after I pestered her for a long time. My head is buzzing, and the pain in my heart is gradually replaced by numbness. The guests have arrived one after another, and the wedding is about to start, but I'm still standing there. Isabella lifts up her skirt and pushes me with a cold face. Lucas, who are you trying to show this gloomy look to? Do you still want to get married or not? She shouts harshly, but I feel as if I'm in a different world. Perhaps, I shouldn't have coveted something that doesn't belong to me, and I shouldn't have forced someone who doesn't love me to marry me. I lower my head, meet Isabella's impatient gaze, and say calmly, let's get a divorce. Actually, let's break up. After all, we haven't got the marriage certificate yet. Isabella looks surprised, and then a bit angry. Are you out of your mind? You were the one who begged me to marry you. Don't you dare regret it. Seeing us quarreling, Ethan looks a bit embarrassed and says, is it because of me? Sorry, Isabella. I just can't let you go and want to see you get married with my own eyes. Isabella looks at me mockingly and then shields Ethan behind her. It's none of your business. He's just losing his mind. My emotions are calm, seemingly without any fluctuation. I've been in love with her for 5 years and have been chasing after her for 5 years, but I've never received any response. Now it seems that it's not that difficult to let go. Yeah, I don't regret it. I'm backing out. Isn't that exactly what you want? Don't let him be the best man either. Let him be the groom instead of me. Isabella seems to be taken aback by what I said. In the past, whenever she threatened to break up, would beg her not to, and I would even kneel down and plead. But now I'm so straightforward, and there's no sign of sadness in my expression. She laughs out of anger. Fine. Let's break up. Lucas, don't come crawling back to me like a dog in the future. She steps on her high heels, and the clear and crisp sound of her steps rings densely in my ears, full of eagerness and anger. I'm dragged to the main stage forcefully. The guests and the MC all look confused, not knowing what's going on. Isabella picks up the microphone and says straightforwardly, Lucas and I can't get married today. Everyone can take back the gift money you gave. As for the banquet, feel free to enjoy the food and drinks. It's on me. After saying that, she turns around and leaves. I look at her back, and tears of a physiological reaction stream from the corners of my eyes, blurring my vision. How on earth did we end up like this? I have been in love with Isabella for 5 years. But she doesn't know that. For her, our first meeting was on a rainy day. The light gray clouds were floating aimlessly, and the fine rain weaved a net in the air obliquely and then fell. That day, the Isabella family, one of the 5 great families, finally lost in the disputes among the various families. They not only went bankrupt but also owed a huge amount of foreign debt. The villa, the cars, all the valuable things were auctioned off. The Ethan family, who had an arranged marriage with Isabella, resolutely cut off their relationship with them. They even forcefully sent Ethan abroad, separating the childhood sweethearts who had feelings for each other. At that time, I was sitting in the car. Looking at that girl through the car window, her back was thin and frail. She stubbornly raised her head to look at the sky, letting the rain hit her face. Somehow, my heart ached. And the highest level of love is to feel distressed. Isabella is such an excellent person that she shouldn't be dragged down by her family, and she shouldn't have her pride broken. I hope she can shine brightly and be the center of attention. Just like the scene when I first saw her, standing on the stage confidently giving a speech, exuding an attractive charm in every gesture. But after the speech, she smiled and walked towards Ethan in the audience. The two of them looked like a perfect couple. At that moment, I knew I had no hope. I buried this feeling deep in my heart. But now, it seems that my chance has come. So I got out of the car, held a black umbrella, and covered her head with it. I gently hugged her and said softly, "Be with me. I can give you everything you want, okay?" Her body stiffened. She looked up at me and then said, "Okay," in a voice so faint that it was almost inaudible. At that moment, I felt like I had obtained a rare treasure and couldn't wait to hold her dear in my heart. My friends around all said that I was stupid and had a lot of money. I just chuckled and didn't deny it. If being stupid could let me be with the woman I loved, then I was willing to be stupid for a lifetime. After being with Isabella, she was always busy with her career and didn't communicate much with me. I didn't have any objections. She had a cold personality, but I was happy to approach her again and again. Later, this iceberg gradually melted. We also became more and more like an ordinary young couple. I thought it would be nice if we could stay together like this until we grew old. But until Ethan appeared, I realized how ridiculous my efforts of the past 5 years had been. the way she was in front of Ethan, laughing, playing around, or being cute and naive. These were all looks that I had never even seen in my dreams. Well, it's time for me to let go. After the farcical wedding, I returned to the villa. I packed all my things neatly. When I was carrying my luggage and about to leave, I happened to meet Isabella, who was coming back. She gave me a contemptuous glance. "Lucas, you've got guts now. It's easy to get out, but if you want to come back, it won't be that simple. Actually, if you beg me, I might not be unable to forgive you." I nodded and said politely, "No need. Please step aside." Isabella's words were like hitting cotton. She looked at me suspiciously, and finally her expression turned into anger. After I went out, she slammed the door shut. The loud noise echoed in my ears, a bit noisy. When I got home, I ignored the worried looks from my parents and sister. After blocking all of Isabella's contact information, I went to sleep for 3 days and 3 nights without caring about anything else. When I woke up again, my sister reached out her hand to check my breath. "Lucas, I thought you were dead." I felt a bit embarrassed. I'm already such an adult, yet I still made my family worry about me. It really shouldn't have been like this. After having a meal, in order to help me get over it, my sister dragged me to the most famous nightfall bar nearby. "Lucas, let me tell you, it's just a woman. Here today, you can have as many as you want. If you're going to be all weepy and whiny about that Isabella like you were before, I'll kick you out of our Lucas family. You don't want to be a young master properly, but you insist on being a nanny for someone." She babbled on and waved her hand to order a lot of drinks. I smiled and took a sip of my wine, letting my sister talk on. After there was no one in my heart anymore, I seemed to feel much more relaxed and came back to life after a long time. But I didn't expect that I would run into Isabella and Ethan here too. I turned my head to try to avoid them, but then I thought, I didn't do anything wrong, so why should I be afraid? So I sat up straight and continued chatting and laughing with my sister. Ethan was sitting not far from us, and he noticed me first. "Isabella, look, isn't that Lucas? Who's the person beside him?" His voice wasn't low, and every word he said clearly reached my ears. Isabella frowned and looked in our direction. In the dim environment, my sister was wearing a deep blue mermaid dress, looking sexy and noble. Her face couldn't be seen clearly for a moment, but it added to the atmosphere. Moreover, my sister was quite casual and free-spirited, so it was no wonder he would misunderstand. Isabella pulled the corners of her mouth into a smile. "So that's why he wanted to break up. He already has a new love." Ethan pressed his lips together and smiled, defending me, but somehow his words sounded strange. "Isabella, don't think too much. Maybe they're just friends?" Isabella crossed her arms and looked disdainful. "What does it matter if they're friends or not? I don't care at all. Lucas is childish and selfish. He's just a good-for-nothing young master from a wealthy family. If he wants to break up with me, I should even thank him for letting me go." Although I had already expected that Isabella wouldn't say anything nice. But when I heard her belittle me again with my own ears, my heart still couldn't stop aching, and I could hardly breathe. My sister was so angry that she stood up and wanted to teach them a lesson, but I stopped her. "I don't want to have any more connections with them." My sister gave me a look of hating iron for not turning into steel and had to give up. Ethan smiled and tactfully changed the subject. "I'm back in the country this time to inherit my father's company. Isabella, you've worked so hard these years, building your company from scratch and making it so big." Isabella smiled a bit shyly. Then the two of them started discussing some economic issues and chatting happily. After a pause, my heart skipped a beat, and I looked up at my sister in front of me. "Sister, teach me how to manage the company." My sister swayed her wine glass and smiled. "What, don't you want to be a house husband anymore?" I nodded. When I was with Isabella, I volunteered to stay at home and take care of her. Just like my sister said, I didn't want to be a proper young master but insisted on being a nanny for someone else. But in the end, I only moved myself. I have resources and abilities. Why don't I inherit the family business and instead get stuck because of a woman? No wonder they say that love is a terrible thing. It's like a drug. Once you get addicted to it, you can't get rid of it. But I never regret having loved Isabella. I ask myself, my love is innocent and aboveboard, and I haven't wronged anyone. But later I realized that love is just a flavor enhancer. When you treat love as the only thing in your life, you will instead lose more. "Yeah, sister, I want to study hard and then inherit our family's company." After hearing what I said, my sister was so happy that she even stopped drinking. She patted me on the shoulder and looked at me with satisfaction, nodding repeatedly and saying okay. In the following days, I studied with my sister, ran some business errands, and talked about cooperation and so on. My life became much more fulfilling, which was much more meaningful than thinking about what Isabella would want to eat in the afternoon like I did before. My parents were also very pleased and gave me a company to practice with a wave of their hands. Sister, isn't this a bit hasty of Mom and Dad? I was a bit scared, but more of it was anticipation. After this period of time, I found that I actually have a talent for business. What I lack is just the opportunity to gain experience. My sister seemed to be able to see through my thoughts. She handed me a folder. It's not hasty. You can already take on responsibilities on your own now. This cooperation with the William family, do your best. I have high hopes for you. I nodded and took it solemnly. The next day, I wore a suit custom made by Italian artisans and a watch to show my respect for the cooperation. Our family has always been quite wealthy. After all, the Lucas family is at least the head of the 5 great families. But my sister and I are not the kind of people who like to show off. But now I realize that sometimes being too low-key is not a good thing either. I entered the private room. There was a middle-aged man sitting inside. He looked kind and was smiling. He should be William from the William family, that is, the partner of this cooperation. Hello, I'm Lucas from the Lucas family. William smiled and stood up to shake hands with me. You're really young and promising. Wait a moment. There's another person coming for this project. Let's see which one of you two can meet my requirements better. When I heard this, my eyebrows twitched. A bad premonition welled up in my heart. Sure enough, in less than 5 minutes, Isabella pushed the door open and came in. William, long time no see. Isabella, welcome. When I saw Isabella again, I was calmer than I had imagined. I wouldn't be emotionally affected by her appearance anymore. It seemed that I really regarded her as a stranger. Isabella took a seat beside me, and the dishes started to be served. She turned her head, took out her proposal, but William said there was no hurry. Lucas, you and Isabella are old acquaintances. Chat and catch up. William knew about the farce of our wedding. It can only be said that this situation is embarrassing for both of us. And although Isabella seems calm and is like an iceberg on the surface, only I know that she is like a dormant volcano and may erupt at any time. William, don't make fun of us. Let's talk about the business. Since William couldn't find any fun, he could only cough twice and start talking about the cooperation. Isabella first raised her eyebrows and looked at me. She confidently placed her proposal in front of William and then whispered to me, Lucas, do you really think that after following your sister for a few months, you can come and compete with me for this cooperation? Why don't you beg me? If you kneel down and beg me like you used to, I might consider giving this cooperation to you. I didn't say anything. I just pursed my lips and took out my own proposal as well. In fact, when I first got together with Isabella, I didn't know many of her living habits, so we often had some conflicts. I didn't know how to placate her. Isabella would ask me to kneel down, and I did as she said every time. Thinking about it now, I was indeed more obedient than a dog these past few years. William took the 2 proposals and looked at them. Finally, he cleared his throat. Isabella looked confident of winning. William's voice sounded with a hint of apology. I'd still choose Lucas. I'm sorry, Isabella. We can cooperate next time. Isabella was slightly stunned in place. Her pupils dilated, and her expression became a bit agitated. William, why is that? The profit I'm offering in this proposal is twice as much as Lucas's, isn't it? William smiled, but there was no warmth in his eyes. That's true. But it's more reliable to cooperate with the Lucas family, of course. Only then did Isabella remember my other identity, the young master of the Lucas family, which was at the head of the 5 great families. There was a thought-provoking look in her eyes, and she looked at me with a complex expression. I didn't say anything. I just thanked William. He made the decision considering the Lucas family status, but I am from the Lucas family. My family background is also a part of my strength. After seeing William off, I was blocked by Isabella on my way. Stop right there, Lucas. I had been in the private room for a bit too long, and my head felt stuffy and uncomfortable. What can I do for you, Miss Isabella? Isabella frowned. What did you call me? Miss Isabella. I repeated it silently. She pulled the corners of her mouth into a half-smile and leaned in closer. She was clearly half a head shorter than me, but her imposing manner was much stronger than mine. Lucas, who taught you this trick? You've succeeded. This trick really caught my attention. There was nothing but mockery in Isabella's eyes and brows. Do you want to make a name for yourself in the business world and then play hard to get? But unfortunately, I'm not falling for that. Lucas, I built my business from scratch. Unlike you, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth," she said sarcastically, step by step forcing me towards the corner of the wall. After taking off the filter of love, I realized how terribly arrogant Isabella was. Or rather, she had an inexplicable sense of confidence. I felt a bit dizzy, and my legs gradually went weak. Damn it, I'm having a hypoglycemic episode. After getting married to Isabella, I often faced a pot of hot food, but I waited until it got cold and still didn't see her come home. I'm not a picky person either. Since she wasn't coming home, I just made do with the cold dishes and rice. Over time, problems like hypoglycemia and stomach problems also emerged. I pursed my lips and forced myself to speak despite the discomfort. "Miss Isabella, I don't have that thought at all. You are too confident." This sentence seemed to touch Isabella's sore spot. She grabbed my collar and then threw me to the ground. Isabella knows martial arts. When she was angry at home in the past, she would directly lay hands on me. Although my head was still dizzy now, my body instinctively found the position that would cause the least amount of harm and lay down. "Humph, what right do you have to talk about me, Lucas? People like you can never understand the hardships that Ethan and I have gone through together. So what if you got the contract with the William family? You can't even compare to a single hair of Ethan's. Do you know that? Did you really think I wanted to marry you in the first place? I just saw that you were rich. Did you think I was marrying you, Lucas? You're wrong. I was marrying the name Lucas." As I listened to Isabella's words one after another, my heart didn't even have time to ache before my head went dizzy and I fainted. Without any sugar, I really couldn't hold on anymore. My eyes rolled back, and my mind started to go blank. Before I lost consciousness, I heard Isabella's footsteps as she left without hesitation. "Lucas, are you playing this game to win sympathy again? You're really disgusting. Since that's the case, you can just stay here and act by yourself." Isabella left me there on the ground. I chuckled. The bitter tears couldn't flow out because I had already shed all my tears before. I did pretend to be sick before, hoping that Isabella would come home. But what was the use? Later, I came to the conclusion that whether I pretended or not, she wouldn't even look at me. That's right. I should have given up hope on her long ago. When I woke up again, my sister was beside me with a worried expression. "What happened to you? You got yourself in such a mess." I forced a smile and felt my body gradually warming up. "It's okay. I just fainted due to hypoglycemia." My sister didn't think too much about it. She handed me an invitation to a dinner party. "Lucas, you're doing great. You've basically entered the business circle. This is an invitation to the Daphne family's dinner party. You can go. Maybe you'll get something out of it." I popped a piece of candy into my mouth and took the invitation. I nodded silently in agreement. The next day, I changed into a new dark blue suit, tidied myself up, and put 2 pieces of candy in my pocket before setting off. The dinner party was quite grand. As someone who had attended such occasions since childhood, I was able to handle it with ease. Some people from the 5 great families also came to chat with me. They had recently heard the news that some of the Lucas family's industries were gradually being handed over to me. They were all shrewd people and didn't mention anything about me and Isabella at all. The incident between us had caused quite a stir at that time, but now it had almost faded from people's memories. The young lady of the Daphne family was wearing a dreamy purple dress and walked towards me holding a glass of red wine. "Lucas, long time no see." I nodded and clinked glasses with her. After all, we grew up together. I smiled and started talking to her about the funny things that happened when we were children. Coincidentally, Isabella happened to pass by us. I only felt a gaze quickly sweep across my cheek and then disappear. The young lady of the Daphne family raised her eyebrows, and the implication was obvious. I curled the corners of my mouth and said indifferently, "It's okay. Let's continue." After the party ended, I just walked out and was about to call the driver. But I met Isabella at the entrance. She wrapped her coat around herself. It was already autumn, and she was only wearing a simple backless dress with a thin outer shawl that barely covered her. "Lucas, I want to have the crucian carp soup you made." She looked at me. After her eyes met mine, she looked away, but there was still a determined look on her face, as if she was certain that I would agree. Was Isabella showing weakness? The moment she lowered her head, it was a shyness that I had never seen on her before. But I frowned slightly, feeling that it was completely inexplicable. After being with Isabella, I learned how to cook from the family chef and made food for her. It's not that there were no chefs. It's just that when you love someone, you always want to do everything for them yourself. And this Crucian carp and tofu soup was the dish I made for Isabella the most. I still remember what she said at that time: "It's this lousy soup every day. I'm already sick of it. Actually, we can hire a chef. You don't have to cook, Lucas." I can still clearly remember the look of disgust on her face. And now she said she wanted to have it? Women are really strange. Why did she disdain it when I was holding the soup and begging her to drink it, but now that we've broken up, she's stopping me and asking me to make the soup for her? Isabella, what on earth do you take me for? My eyes were clear, but my words revealed a sense of distance. Excuse me. Do I need to remind you that we've already broken up? I have no obligation to make soup for you. Isabella was still looking at me. Her pupils shrank slightly, seemingly a bit surprised. Lucas, are you serious? She gritted her teeth. I raised my voice. Of course I'm serious. Am I playing around? If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving now. Miss Isabella doesn't have to act coyly here. If you're cold, you can call the driver or take a taxi. You should know how to use a smartphone, right? I turned around and left without hesitation, leaving Isabella standing there. The gaze behind me was burning hot, as if it was going to bore a hole through me. It was a bit uncomfortable. The north wind howled, and the withered yellow leaves on the trees swirled and fell to the ground. It really had cooled down today. Fortunately, I was wearing enough clothes. In the following months, I never saw Isabella again. I heard from our mutual friends that she had been acting really strange recently, as if she was absent-minded. She seems to regret it. Lucas, Isabella seems to like you. I interrupted my friend and just reminded him that he didn't need to tell me any news about her in the future. I didn't want to hear it, and I didn't want to listen. But a few days later, my sister threw a video at me. The protagonist of the video was Ethan. I clicked it open. The angle of the video seemed to be a candid shot. Ethan in the video was wearing casual clothes and didn't know who he was talking to. Why did I come back to the country? It's not easy to make a living abroad either. In fact, I never expected Isabella to make a comeback after going bankrupt. Did you really think I liked her? I did like her when her family hadn't gone bankrupt before, but later. Now I hope she can directly transfer the company to me. You don't know. My old man has quite a few illegitimate children out there. Only when I cheat her out of the company will I have a better chance of winning the fight for the family property. In the video, Ethan shed his false facade and completely exposed his true nature. I almost watched it with a dark face. It's really ridiculous. I actually lost to such a man. What on earth did my 5 years mean? I watched the video over and over again several times. I'm almost certain that Isabella definitely doesn't know Ethan's true face now. After all, with my sister's methods, the video she obtained is first-hand information. Sighing, I sent the video to our mutual friend and asked him to forward it to Isabella. I followed the kindness in my heart. After all, I still couldn't bear to see her being deceived. Not long after, an unfamiliar number called my phone. It must be Isabella. After thinking about it, I still pressed the answer button. After all, we still need to draw a line under this. It's not good to keep having such a drawn-out relationship with her. Lucas. I didn't say anything. The person on the other end didn't get a response from me. After a pause, she started talking on her own. Lucas, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was such a person. On the day of the wedding. I don't know when, Isabella's always strong voice became a bit fragile. She choked up and said, I just realized now that I actually don't like Ethan at all. He was just a thorn in my heart. Once it's pulled out, it's gone. But Lucas, you're different. I really like you. I was wrong before. I trampled on your sincerity. It shouldn't have been you kneeling down to beg me. How about I kneel down and beg you? Lucas, I can't live without you. The house is so cold and there's no warmth at all. No one will pick me up for work anymore, and no one will care about me every day. Do you know, Lucas? In fact, what I said before were all angry words. On the surface, I couldn't wait for you to leave, but actually I didn't want you to leave at all. I opened WeChat and checked it 10,000 times a day, and used other people's phones to look through your moments. Every time my phone vibrated, I prayed that it was a message from you. But there wasn't. I'm sorry, Lucas. I lost you. After saying that, she paused again. Lucas, I know you still can't forget me. Would you give me another chance? Let's be together again. Her tone was a bit nervous, but she said it with certainty. It was as if as long as she took one step towards me, I would still take 99 steps towards her as I used to. I admit that I liked her a lot before, but this time, listening to her apology, I just felt sorry for my past efforts. I shook my head and refused. No, Isabella, I might not have forgotten you, but I definitely don't have trouble letting go of you. I would tell anyone about this if they were in this situation. And, I don't love you anymore. Don't bother me again. After I finished speaking, I hung up the phone. I also sent a message to my friend. If you really want to do something good for me, don't tell Isabella any more information about me. There's no possibility for us anymore. It took a long time for my friend to send 2 messages. Got it. But I can feel that Isabella is serious this time, Lucas. You've loved her for so many years. Is it worth it to let go now? Is it worth it? My right hand slowly reached up to touch my chest. 5 years. A person's youth is only a few years. I almost gave all my youth to Isabella without reservation. What did I get in return? Being anxious about gains and losses? Or having no sense of security at all, and having to exchange her love by blindly being obedient? I'm a human being, not a dog. I'm tired, really tired. I want to set myself free, and also set free the Lucas who had Isabella in his heart and eyes. After this phone call, I returned to my routine life of going between home, the company, and other necessary places. Occasionally, I would have a meal with my parents. The rest of the time, I was always busy with my new company. Relying on myself and the Lucas family, the new company is developing better and better. No one can tell that I was a house husband for a few years. I act resolutely and vigorously, embodying the style of the heir of the Lucas family. My sister trusts me very much and stretches herself. Finally, I can retire. She pinched my face with satisfaction. Lucas, you're great. When there's no woman in your heart, you can be as powerful as a god. My sister is a bit frivolous, but somehow I feel the warmth of family affection from her. It's a feeling warmer than love. It makes me feel so warm that my whole body is comfortable. I went to the company as usual. Near noon, the receptionist reported that there was someone who said he knew me and wanted to talk to me. Let him come up. I ordered. After a while, a familiar figure walked into my office. He was just like the way I saw him at the wedding, but also a bit different. He had less of his former high spirits and more of a tired look mixed with resentment. Lucas, you really have some tricks. You gave Isabella the video, right? Why did you do this to me? Ethan roared and tried to come up and strangle me, but was stopped by the security guards who had been prepared beside him. Ethan, I just let Isabella see your true face. I smiled self-deprecatingly. Ethan easily got the love that I had longed for but couldn't obtain, yet he didn't cherish it. He even wanted to deceive Isabella and cheat her out of her company. But Isabella just happened to love him and not me. I don't quite understand why everything in the world can be so contradictory. If you came here just to intimidate me, then you can. Before I could finish my sentence, I saw Isabella storming into the office. What's wrong with this security system? They can't even stop a person? The year-end bonus will be deducted. Ethan, you still have the nerve to show up. Why are you looking for Lucas? Isabella glanced at me with a bit of guilt and then continued to scold Ethan. Do you think you're a good person? Wasn't it you who contacted me first as soon as I returned to the country? Who can't see what you're up to? You didn't want to marry Lucas at all. I was just saving you from the pain. Isn't that what you wanted? Ethan shouted, completely exposing Isabella. She turned her head to look at me in fear, only to see that I still had that expressionless look, like a stagnant pool of water. This is boring. I didn't come here to watch you two fight like dogs. Security guards, escort these two out. It's almost time for lunch. Don't ruin my appetite. Ethan left straightforwardly. It seemed that he just came here to disgust me. But Isabella was reluctant to leave. Her eyes were burning with intensity as she looked at me blatantly. Just like the way I looked at her from the audience when she was giving a speech. Lucas, I will wait for you to come back. I know you still love me. After saying that, she took a deep look at me and left. Do I still love you? Most likely not. The heart can't lie. When Isabella said this, I felt almost nothing inside. Sure enough, time can wash away all feelings. But my surging love was gradually worn away by you bit by bit. Isabella, you deserve it. Sure enough, I lost my appetite. I simply went home. My sister said she had a little surprise for me. Just as she finished speaking, my phone rang. It was Isabella's parents. They apologized to me humbly. Lucas, we're apologizing to you on behalf of Isabella. This child has been as stubborn as a mule since she was a child. I looked at my sister helplessly. She must have done something to Isabella's family, Otherwise they wouldn't have been forced to come and apologize to me. If Isabella's family was still the same as it was when it was one of the 5 great families, it would be difficult for my sister to do anything. But Isabella's family is no longer what it used to be. Even though Isabella has made a comeback, she doesn't have as deep a foundation as our family. Okay, uncle and aunt. You don't have to do this. Isabella and I have already broken up. Isabella's mother was a bit anxious. What breakup? Young people these days are so prone to having tantrums. You just need to get along better and work things out. They kept chattering on. It was all about asking me to forgive Isabella and get back together with her. I smiled and decided not to pretend anymore. In that case, uncle and aunt, I'll be straight with you. There's no possibility between me and your daughter anymore. And I'm not unaware of your little thoughts. You just think that the Isabella family now has enough strength and doesn't need to rely on the Lucas family anymore. Otherwise, why didn't you come to persuade us when we canceled the wedding? If you keep making a scene like this, it will only make things uglier. The person on the other end was stunned for a moment, and no more sound came from the phone. I hung up the phone, and my nose felt a bit sour. Sister, is my taste really that bad? Why does it hurt so much to like someone? My sister let out a chuckle and pulled me to a place. Come on, little fool. Sister will help you put an end to this today. Following my sister's steps, I came to Isabella's company. In fact, I vaguely guessed what my sister was going to do. She just stood right in front of Isabella, raised her eyebrows and sneered, Isabella, you've been having a hard time recently, haven't you? Isabella looked at me, then at my sister, and her body stiffened. Her lips trembled slightly. You did this. Why? My sister was very disdainful. There's no why. Since I can give it to you, of course I can take it back. This is just the beginning. My stupid little brother finally fell in love with someone, but why did he take a fancy to a bitch like you? My sister spoke sharply and quickly, word by word. Isabella gradually pieced together the truth from her words. That is, she wasn't a genius who built her business from scratch. Everything she thought she had achieved by herself was actually supported and even fueled by the Lucas family behind the scenes. Without the Lucas family, she was nothing. Just a girl whose family had gone bankrupt and owed a large amount of foreign debt. She was trembling all over. I knew how much this blow would affect her confidence. Isabella was very confident, even conceited. She did have the capital to be so before. As the only daughter of the Isabella family, she was beautiful and glamorous. But now, she realized that almost everything she had was given by me. Her tone was humble, so low that it seemed to sink into the dust. Lucas, can you give me another chance? My sister glanced at me, urging me to make a clean break. I let out a sigh. Isabella, if I give you a chance, who will give the past me a chance? If possible, I wish I had never met you. After saying that, I pulled my sister and was about to leave. But a heart-rending shout came from behind, Lucas, if you don't agree to me, I'll kill myself right in front of you. She seemed determined to commit suicide immediately if I didn't agree. I paused for a moment but still didn't look back. Then go ahead and die. But no one expected it. Isabella really had the courage to commit suicide. She climbed to the top of the Lucas Group building and even started a live broadcast. She just wanted me to see her. The former president of the Isabella Group, a well-known figure, attracted a large number of media with her current appearance. Finally, under pressure, I was brought out by the firefighters. I felt no more emotional stirrings in my heart, just annoyance. Isabella was holding a phone and sitting right on the edge without any protection. Her feet were swinging, and it seemed that she might fall off at any moment. I felt that she looked very unfamiliar like this. Why had the once haughty person become like this? Lucas, you're here. I nodded and let out a soft She sobbed softly, Lucas, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for you. I just realized now that I don't like Ethan at all. I like you. I still nodded, not saying a single word, and not even changing my expression. After he came back to the country, I was the one who contacted him first. Do you know that? I saw his moments and somehow I just contacted him. You said we were short of a best man. I took over the words, and then you asked him, and you were still fantasizing about getting back together with him, right? Her face was covered in tears, looking confused, but she still nodded. Yes. I'm just a jerk. I already had you, and you treated me so well. Why did I still? I analyzed calmly. You were just being greedy. You were having what you already had while eyeing what others had. Do you really think I'm good, or are you just used to having me in your life? Isabella, you can deceive me, But you can't deceive yourself, can you? Isabella smiled bitterly and sat on the high building, looking at the scenery. Sorry, Lucas. I always learn to cherish only after I've lost. Can you forgive me? I swear I'll definitely change. Let's be together and start over, okay? Isabella stared fixedly at me. Time hadn't left many marks on her face, and she was still very beautiful. But I wouldn't be moved anymore. Isabella, you really are sorry for me. You're sorry for my passionate feelings, and you're sorry for my sincere and fervent love. I don't love you anymore. Why should I live with someone I don't love? You know what? I wasn't pretending to be sick that day. I really fainted. The last thing I saw was your back as you walked away. Hearing my words, Isabella forced a smile, and tears kept falling, as if my words had pierced her heart. Sorry, Lucas. She stood up, but if you don't agree to me, I'll jump. I looked at the firefighters beside me, and they gave me a gesture. The air-cushioned bed downstairs had already been laid out. She wouldn't die from the fall. So I looked at the disheveled woman in front of me with a cold face, a trace of mockery flashing in my eyes. Isabella, you look really ugly like this. Don't waste public resources. Seeing that I was indifferent, Isabella smiled, a tear sliding down the corner of her eye. Without hesitation, she decisively jumped down. I didn't look back at her. Isabella kept saying that she loved me and didn't like Ethan. But the necklace around her neck was still the one given to her by Ethan. Whether she was careless or just forgot. In the end, she had never really cared about me from the bottom of her heart. My 5 years were truly wasted. Isabella wasn't worthy of my love anymore. Time would always dilute all emotions. When I love, I give my whole heart. When I don't love, I can leave freely and easily. I still have a lot of time in my life waiting for me to spend.